Hey guys, Cam for 15 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another anime episode review for you guys. As I am talking about a new anime. I don't know when this anime started dropping. I it just missed me when I dropped it, so I missed like the first like 9 episodes. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, the first 9 episodes of the series of the show. Um, Listen, um, hey, I'm here for it. I like it, and I will definitely continue to watch it and review it on the channel because I have to. Um, I might as well because, hey, listen. Obviously, all respects to Akira Toriyama. Again, if you're late to the party and you didn't know, Akira Toriyama tragically passed away about literally a few weeks ago, going on a month. Well, actually, the sub series is got 12 episodes, but you get my point. Anyways, Sandland. This was actually one of his other manga series that he did alongside Dragon Ball, alongside what is it, Dr. Slump. He worked on Dragon Quest in terms of designs and stuff like that for a bit. But Sandland. Look, I heard about Sandland. I knew there was like gonna be like a movie slash anime coming out or whatever. It's an anime. And then obviously the video game just came out, which basically is a video game about the series. Obviously the worst part is the game came out on the same time as the other game, Stellar Blade. So I ended up getting Stellar Blade over Sandland. But maybe at some point after I beat Stellar Blade and I need a game to play with till I hold over till whatever the next game that is on my list, I'll probably, scoop up Sandland because I do want to play it. Obviously, I want to pay my respects to Akira Toriyama. And yeah, I've watched the first 3 episodes of the show. Because, well, I just liked the show so much, I just started binging, and I was like, all right, hold on, I gotta stop so I can freaking review the episodes for you guys. So I'm gonna have like first 3 episode impressions and everything. But Sandland, what is Sandland about? Sandland takes place, well, in this desert world, and everything, and basically it's just a land of sand. There's barely any water, and you kind of see it how some people struggle to find water, and it's hard to find water and things like that, and get their hands of water. And obviously our main character is actually a demon named Beelzebub. And basically demons are feared in this universe. But Beelzebub, and you would think the demons are the bad guys and maybe the humans are going up against them and everything. No. Demons kind of live out on their own things, but the thing is, not all demons in this universe are bad. I would envision maybe that there are other bad demons, but Beelzebub is one of the good demons, and he's kind of like your tsundere type of demon, but at the same time a cool character as well. Like, he's the type of character that, even though he plays it off like, oh, I'm just a bad guy and I'm doing these bad things, if he sees, like we see in like the first episode, there's this kid that is very thirsty for water and everything, and then he just gives this can of water to this kid, and he's like, here you go, and he's like, and I didn't do it just for you because you're thirsty or anything. And you just see he's a good dude. He's a good dude, and he's willing to help people when he needs help. So he goes back to his demon village, and then we focus on this guy, this old man named I have his character thing pulled up, Rao, which we later find out is General Shiva or Rao Shiva, which episode 3 actually was like insanity with where they took it, which I can't wait to talk about. But you have it to where he's in this village and he's the sheriff of this village, and the village is going on hard times. They're struggling to get water, and he hears about this rumor about this spring in the south. But he knows, all right, I'm gonna need some people to join me on this mission. And then he overhears the fact that there was this demon that ended up giving this kid some water. So he goes over to like the demon area, and he basically asked them like, hey, was there a demon, or I was told that there was a demon that ended up giving water to this kid in my village, and it definitely helped, you know, some people who needed water a lot, helped out a lot. So eventually Beelzebub confronts him, and then they basically go on this journey together with the approval of Beelzebub's father, the Demon King. I think his name's Satan or whatever, actually Satan or whatever. Which is funny, he's a prince. And the funny part actually too, the Beelzebub's father looks literally like Dabura from Dragon Ball Z. Now he's not Dabura. Clearly he's not Dabura, but he has like the same like design as Dabura, the same long chin, the same thing. And honestly, I actually like the animation and the way Sandland the anime looks. It literally has the animation style of the most recent Dragon Ball Super movie, Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Literally. It's the exact same animation style. And honestly, you know, I didn't mind the animation style at first. Like, it was kind of jarring back at the time when Dragon Ball Super Superhero came out, and I was like, I don't know if I'll get used to this. You know, it should be just 2D, but it ended up growing on me. And you know, this animation, it grew, I like it, and it's definitely growing on me, and it actually fits it. It's still the same Toriyama like designs and everything. It's so funny too, because even you have it to where the currency in this universe is also Zenny as well. So that's kind of the thing right then and there, which is funny. When I heard like, oh, Zenny, I was like, Zenny, what the hell is going on? So that was funny within itself. But he basically recruits Beelzebub to join him on this journey to go to the south to find this water spring, and hopefully find this water spring to be able to give everybody in Sandland water. Because obviously, you know, people are struggling to get water. They're struggling to get water. So they go on this journey. You know, a lot of stuff happens. They start their journey in episode 1, near the tail end of episode 1. Episode 2, a lot basically happens. And then at the tail end, they end up stealing the King's Army's tank. And that's when, now it's seemingly enough, that's where the story's picking up, and it gets into episode 3. Because eventually they steal the tank. This airship comes down that belongs to the king. And at first they get by, and everything. And then eventually this comms comes in like, hey, we got our tank stolen. So they turn around and inventively, they do a lot of, you know, interesting ways to get out of it. And you see in like episode 2, like Rao, he understands how to like drive this tank, command this tank, be able to operate it, be able to shoot it, and come up with everything. And I also forgot, like, one of Beelzebub's, I guess, right-hand man, named Thief, ends up, you know, joining in on the party, which I think it's a nice little banter. He's like an older demon fellow, but he still acts as if he's like a child, which is funny. So you kind of have him and Beelzebub bicker back and forth, and then he's the type of guy who's like, I don't know, we should be doing this, you know, I want to make sure I'm still alive. You know, and this guy, he's got Thief, he seems like he's had some years, but even then, you know, like these demon characters, they can be alive for damn near centuries. But I like this 3-man team. It's a nice dual dynamic. You know, you have it throughout the episodes Rao is also obviously opening up to these demon characters, Thief and Beelzebub, but he also starts to like appreciate Beelzebub's like his talents. Like we know that Beelzebub, he's actually pretty strong, and I guess at what is his young age as a demon, like he's pretty strong. He can fight. He can even take freaking bullets. Now maybe like not a lot of bullets, but like we have it in like the first episode, like the King's are like these people, yeah, like the King's army people, they shoot at him and he's like bulletproof, which would make sense because he's a demon. But you know, you just have it, and you see the bond that they're making. Rao is obviously acknowledging Beelzebub. It's like, wow, you're actually more than I thought you were, and everything. And maybe this could also, and I'm thinking maybe this is also like a thing where maybe this will open Beelzebub and obviously Thief to be going when he goes back from this mission. Like, hey, you know, there are actually some pretty damn good humans out there. Maybe we should actually be more opening up and actually show them, hey, we're actually pretty good demons. Not all demons are bad. Let's actually like maybe create some sort of bond, because in this universe, like demons kind of do their own things, humans kind of do their own thing, and humans really fear demons. So maybe this is kind of like a thing now where there's trust, and maybe Beelzebub gets different sides of humans and understands humans on a better, you know, retrospective. So that maybe when he goes back from his journey, at the, I guess at the end of the series, he can go to the other demons and say, you know what, these humans ain't so bad. Maybe we should get to know them better and maybe open up, and maybe if we're just a little bit nicer to these guys, maybe they'll actually treat us the same way as well. Obviously, not all humans are good, but you get my point. I feel like that's what he's gonna learn in this journey. Because in a weird way, he's kind of just been secluded to the demon village, this demon country he's been in for almost all of his life. And like now he's actually going out into the world and seeing what the world has to offer. And it's pretty cool. It's funny to see them drive like the human, like the car at first, and then even the tank. It's funny because especially the bicker between him and Thief. There's like, hey, why don't you let me drive and everything? it's the comedy's really good. I really am liking it. It's your typical funny Akira Toriyama comedy right then and there. So yeah, but going back to the second episode, that's when things start to turn up. They start to get involved with the King's army after stealing the tank, and they come up with like an inventive way to take down like the airship, which I'll talk about the King's army and everything, because they end up finding out like, oh, the King's army in this airship had like this freaking crazy, like it was holding on like 6 gallons of freaking water, and everything, which it's like, okay, that's the thing. And then they end up are kind of like on a manhunt and everything, and they're getting manhunted, or there's like bounties on their head, which is really only Rao. And that kind of leads us into Rao's backstory. One, the opening's fire. I like the opening. The opening sounds great. And we get some backstory about Rao at like when they're like resting at this campfire state. And we get, and there was this one interesting thing in the opening that I was watching. I was like, okay, why is the old guy looking all sad, like he did something? And then I was like also thinking, like, okay, he knows how to operate these tanks. I wonder, was he originally in the King's army, and what happened to get him defected from the King's army? So we get the backstory. He tells Beelzebub and Thief, like, hey, I actually was in the King's army at some point, and because they're talking over like these water-like people, these like weird alien water-like tribe people, that the King's army came and gave them like these crystals to be able to make more water. And Thief was like saying to Rao, like, hey, you know, the whole goal was for them to make water for everybody in Sandland. That's the reason why they were given orders from the King's army, like, hey, do this for us, and then everybody in Sandland will be able to get water. But Rao did not believe that. He's like, no, we were told, I was told like it was for some other reason. We defeated them for some other reason because they were hogging all the water for themselves and stuff like that, you know? Or no, hogging the water for themselves. It was like in a weird way. I forgot what it was. In a weird way, it was like to save Sandland, but from what he was told. But Thief was like, no. What the King's army did It was freaking terrible, man. They destroyed lives. They killed people in that whole instant. And we get the backstory that Rao was essentially on the mission where he ended up blowing up those people who were doing the king's biddings for the water stuff to spread water to everybody. He was a part of that mission. And at first I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty bad. But then we find out it was actually worse on a grander scale, because the king's army ended up having another plot where these other army members ended up taking them out. He somehow survived, and this huge explosion ended up getting other humans caught up in this blast. One of it later revealed in the third episode, because you have it in the tank. He has this image of this chick. And at first, Beelzebub and Thief were like, "Oh, I see you. You're just a dirty old man, just one of the most beautiful actors in the entire world, in the Sandland world." But we later find out that was actually his wife, and we find out like his wife ended up getting caught in this explosion that had happened, and he lost literally everything, and things like that. And it was another, and the whole goal of that other operation plan was we find out even from the first episode on, the king of the Sandland universe is basically a greedy bastard. He's a whore, a greedy water whore. And basically in the south in his kingdom, he is basically hogging all the water for himself. All the potential water that Sandland has to offer. He only has that. Him and his army and whoever lives in his city or whatever commands or has control of all the water, while all the other villages in Sandland, they're basically struggling to get by, and it's very hard to come across water. If anything, it's kind of like again, I have to remember, it's kind of like they more than likely have to pay the army to get access to water, and it's completely like terrible. And this dude is basically a dictator, and you see in the third episode eventually, when he finds out, like, wait, General Shiva is still alive, and everything. And then he's obviously, even in the second episode, when it's like, oh, they sold a tank and everything, and they're coming over the south and about the spring and everything, he's getting all worried because he knows, like, oh shit, if the truth gets out, people are going to be against me, and it's gonna be a whole like rebellion just to get my water. And this plot was just to take out all this water reserves so they can keep it themselves as evil. You have like this really old guy that looks like he has the face of like one of the Pride Trooper dudes, the guy, one of the Pride Trooper guys in Dragon Ball Super during the Tournament of Power. That was the one where I think where Android 18 and 17 fought up against him. I forgot what he was, but he was like he was like the fourth strongest they had in the Pride Trooper group, to be honest. But you can tell, like, okay, this is a sniveling bastard. He's evil to the core as well, and he only will do things to benefit him because he knows, oh, I'm here for the king, and if I do what the king tells me to do, will I keep my job and everything, even though it's at the behest of other innocent people. And you just have it to where Rao, he goes on the news, because the news eventually, because you have it where like these other guys with their father, they see him and they get a good description of him. They take it in the mail. They break it, the news people basically break it down. And they're like, yeah, this is General Shiva. This shocks everybody. And it shocks, obviously, the king's army, because they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's supposed to be dead. How is he still alive? And I wonder if they're going to explain how he ended up staying alive. Unless I missed it in the third episode, how he ended up surviving. What is it? I hope they do explain how he did end up surviving, because things could just go from crazy. Because that's when you have it to where, the other king's tanks army shows up on you. And the one guy from the airship, he wants to take down Shiva because, in a way, that's a living legend to him. And he wants to do that. And when he gets the orders from that one old guy, what is it? This he tells him like, listen, kill Shiva, get rid of him right then and there. And he's like, wait, you don't want me to bring him in? Like, and things like that. And then he also hears the broadcast. He's like, wait, is there any truth to what General Shiva said? And he's like, no, there isn't any truth. He's like, well, I don't know, but you know, my dad, we found out this dude's dad got caught in the blast. And he ended up getting killed in this whole affair. And obviously the old dude, he's trying to save his ass because he knows, oh, this dude finds out that yes, I ordered the hit on that group and this dude's dad was a part of it. He gonna turn on me. So it's already putting a storyline where this guy who's gonna be going after Shiva, which maybe he'll be even more intrigued to go about after Shiva to see, all right, did what you say is the truth? Did you know my father? And I have a feeling like he will have known his father. And we see the look on Rao's face. He looks very damn guilty for what he did. Like, it makes him feel like shit. And then two, also on the fact that like he not only killed innocent people, like blood's on his hands, but he also has the blood of his other comrades on his hands because in a weird way, he kind of led them to death. And plus, you can say he has the blood of his wife on his hands, and you can feel bad for him, and you really feel bad for him. You know, he's definitely a guy that you hope at the end of the series succeeds and he's able to take down the king's army and everything. So in a weird way, he can finally just get past all this deep regret he's had over this guy's over his life. So, you know, you feel for Rao. But going back to the one guy, I have a feeling like he's eventually going to work with Rao, Beelzebub, and a thief to take down the king's army, because eventually he's going to find out the truth that these dudes are responsible for killing my father. My father's dead because of you, and I willingly joined this king's army thinking I'm doing good, but in reality I'm doing bad, and stuff like that. So that's basically it. And the fighting is still continuing on with this tank battle and stuff like that. And you know, they already took down 2 of them, and the guy is shocked, and it's like, all right, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. He's a general, all right, and everything. So it's very interesting to see where Sandland's going. I'm liking where Sandland's going. It's really damn good. I'm liking it. I'm having a lot of fun watching this show. It feels like Dragon Ball, but it's not Dragon Ball. And I think it's just because it's got that Akira Toriyama, just good storytelling in it. And I'm really liking this show, and I can't wait to talk more about it as I start to catch up on a weekly basis and everything. I'm watching the show currently. Now I'll probably switch over to the sub because the sub, from what I saw on Hulu, which is the only place you can actually stream the show. So I don't know if you're out of country where to stream it, but you can stream it on Hulu if you're in the United States of America. But the sub version has more episodes. It goes up to episode 12, so I guess I'll be catching up soon. But solid episode. Maybe I'll actually do like 2 episode reviews in one to catch up faster. But I'm really liking Sandland. It's a great show. If you haven't seen it and you're a Dragon Ball fan, definitely check this out. I think you'll like it. It has the similar Akira Toriyama stuff where it has its lovable characters and everything. And then also I forgot to mention, like, you have this one scene after Rao explains everything and realizes everything, and he just feels depressed. You have to where Beelzebub, with like this red eyes, he's just like absorbing the moon's power or whatever, and he's like, yeah, darkness is coming or something. So I don't know, like, he has some sort of special ability that will get him stronger at some point. So we'll see, I guess, from that point. But like I said, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, or you're just a fan of anything Akira Toriyama related, definitely check this out. I honestly think you should check it out, especially in respect for Akira Toriyama and what he can bring and what he has done for everybody. Like, I'm already 3 episodes in and I'm really liking this show. And at some point I will also pick up the video game and play the video game too. So, you know, I really like it. So put in the comment section your thoughts on Sandland, your thoughts on the first 3 episodes of Sandland if you checked it out. Will you be picking up the video game as well? Let's hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Sandland content or any other anime content I upload to the channel and stuff like that. But till then, guys, catch you guys in the next video, and have a great rest of your day or night watching this video. Peace.